You know what's interesting to me is that if I pulled out a cigarette and started smoking in public in front of a whole bunch of people, they're gonna say things or think things like, dude, smoking kills. What the heck are you doing to yourself? But if I pulled out a Snickers bar or M&M's or Skittles, some sort of sugary product, they wouldn't think a second thought. If a child pulls it out, nobody thinks a second thought. But sugar is destructive to the body. Sugar is addictive inside the body as well. And some studies suggest that sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. You see, sugar lights up the same regions in your brain that light up when you have a sugar craving as when you have a cocaine craving addiction as well. We have been conditioned to believe that sugar is fine for us to consume, for our children to consume. And there's a drug dealer essentially on every corner. At the gas station, at your supermarket, at the convenience store, sugar is everywhere. It's the biggest drug dealer in the world. Now, what would happen if you quit sugar for 14 days? And that's what this video is about. There are some incredible benefits that you're gonna notice in just 14 days. The benefits are truly insane. All right, the first benefit is this. You're gonna lose belly fat, you're gonna lose fat overall, and you will look like a lean machine. Your body stores fat, especially belly fat, visceral fat, organ fat, when you have high levels of the hormone insulin. Now, this is a survival mechanism by the innate intelligence because the #1 priority for the human body is survival. And back in the day, our ancestors needed this process because of uncertainty with when the next meal was coming and famines, etc. But now, the famine never comes. We constantly spike insulin, store fat, spike insulin, store fat. So when we look at the 3 macronutrients, carbohydrates, protein, and fat, it is carbohydrates by far that give you the biggest insulin response, especially sugar and processed carbohydrates. And I got news for you. Even whole healthy carbs like oatmeal and wheat bread and grains and fruit turns into sugar inside of your body. The average person is consuming over 300 grams of carbs per day. That is a lot of sugar, and they're eating it throughout the entire day. That will constantly raise insulin. So within the next 14 days, when you eliminate the sugar, what's gonna happen is you're gonna dramatically lower insulin levels, and then you're gonna allow your metabolism to tap into body fat, especially belly fat, love handles, and the visceral fat around your organs. You see, when you have a steady supply of sugar in the bloodstream, you will not burn fat. It'll block you from tapping into body fat. So what you can expect every day for the next 14 days as you quit sugar is to lose about 1 pound of fat every day for the next 14 days. The second insane benefit from quitting sugar for 14 days is amazing energy levels and mental clarity. A lot of people struggle with brain fog and focus and energy levels, and they rely on sugary snacks and stimulants to keep their energy levels up. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Eventually, it'll catch up to you. As we just mentioned, when you eat sugar, there's a big glucose and insulin response. The body has a tightly controlled system in place to regulate glucose in the bloodstream. When there's too much, it's destructive, so insulin is called. So what happens is you eat that sugar, big glucose response, so rise in glucose, insulin is sprouted out by the pancreas, the beta cells, and then there's a huge crash in your glucose levels. With that crash is your energy levels and focus. And most people will just eat more sugar to keep it up. But again, robbing Peter to pay Paul. When you remove sugar from your diet for the next 14 days, your insulin and your glucose levels are stable, meaning your energy levels are high and they stay high throughout the entire day. Your focus is there, your clarity is there. You don't have to drink that toxic 4-hour energy drink or the Red Bull or drink caffeine throughout the entire day. Your body will have the energy because your hormones like insulin and your blood sugar levels are consistently stable. Again, fat and protein keep your insulin level stable. Sugar destroys it. The third insane benefit, better skin complexion and anti-aging benefits. One of the fastest ways to age yourself and look very old is to have elevated blood sugar levels. In other words, eat sugar. This aging process occurs inside and out. Inside of your body, sugar binds to protein. What does that mean? Remember when you were a kid and you got cotton candy at the fair and you ate it with your hands and then you put your fingers together and it was sticky? That's exactly what's happening to the proteins inside of your body. Sugar is sticky. It binds to proteins. So think of this as rusting your cellular health and the proteins inside of your body. It's like an old car that has been sitting out on the lot for years, rusting and rusting and rusting. When sugar binds to protein inside of your body, it creates something called advanced glycation end products. Stands for AGEs. That's an appropriate name because it ages you very fast. Sugar strips collagen away from your body and from your skin, making your skin look dry and thin. These advanced glycation end products, AGEs, attach to receptors for AGEs. So AGEs creates rages inside of your body. When you remove sugar for the next 14 days, what you're gonna notice in just a matter of days is a better skin complexion. You're gonna notice smooth skin, moist skin, soft skin. It'll take years off your skin complexion in just the next 2 weeks. The fifth benefit of quitting sugar for 14 days, you reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the United States and most first world countries. Here in the United States, a person dies from heart disease every 33 seconds, with over 695,000 people dying from heart disease every single year. Most people think it's cholesterol that's the problem, the boogeyman. But the truth is, it's not cholesterol. Don't blame cholesterol for what the sugar did. There's only one cause of heart disease, and that is damage to your blood vessels. When you damage your blood vessels, it creates arterial plaques and heart disease. What's the #1 thing that causes damage to your blood vessel lining? High insulin levels from sugar. By default, when you remove sugar, you are reducing your risk of heart disease by lowering your insulin levels. And if you did a lipid panel, a cholesterol panel on day 1 and day 14, you'd see huge changes in just 2 weeks. You would see triglycerides drop, HDL go up. You see things shift in such a short amount of time. The sixth insane benefit of quitting sugar, you're going to optimize your blood pressure levels. Stunning as it may sound, nearly half of Americans aged 20 and up, or more than 122 million people, have high blood pressure. Most people believe high blood pressure is a result of a high sodium, high salt diet. But the untold truth is that sugar is the culprit. Again, don't blame salt for what sugar did. The belief that salt raises blood pressure is based off of bogus science. This conventional wisdom originated by French scientists over 100 years ago who based that belief off of 6 patients. It has been totally debunked, yet a lie repeated often enough becomes the truth. We saw that the last 4 years. And here's the mechanism of action. When you eat too much sugar, it inhibits the production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is very important. One of the responsibilities for nitric oxide is a process called vasodilation, where your blood vessels open up, allowing blood to flow freely and oxygen to get to different tissues and organs so you thrive and feel good. The heart is relaxed, everything is working properly. But when you inhibit nitric oxide by consuming sugar, now you have vasoconstriction, and it forces the heart to work harder, which elevates your blood pressure levels. This is exactly what has increased your blood pressure levels if you have high blood pressure. After just 14 days without sugar, you will notice a nice drop in your blood pressure levels if it's high. If it's already at an optimal level, it'll stay there. And the sixth insane benefit of quitting sugar, you might inspire your friends and your family to do the same thing. Have you ever heard the saying, your actions speak so loudly, I can barely hear you? Imagine if you actually took action on this video and you quit sugar for the next 14 days. The benefits will be noticeable not just by you, but by those around you, your friends and your family members and your coworkers. They will ask you, what are you doing differently? And you will have the special opportunity to educate them and teach them what you learned on this video. And you'll get bonus points if you share this video with them. If you enjoyed this video, you're gonna love a recent video I did on the best foods to clear your arteries and prevent heart disease. I'm gonna be sharing with you the best foods that will raise HDL in your body and clear those arteries. Before we get to the list of those foods I want you to incorporate, let's start with the foods to remove that actually cause arterial blockages.